The Quran, Islam's holy book, places great emphasis on the natural world and the creatures within it. Animals are frequently mentioned to illustrate various lessons, reflect on the greatness of God's creation, and draw moral and spiritual insights. Among these creatures, camels hold a particularly esteemed position due to their significant role in the daily lives of the people living in the Arabian Peninsula during the time of the Quran's revelation. The Arabian Peninsula, a vast desert landscape characterized by its harsh climate and arid conditions, was home to numerous tribes and civilizations long before the advent of Islam. These communities depended heavily on their environment for survival, and among the most crucial elements of their existence was the camel. Often referred to as the ships of the desert, camels were indispensable to the Bedouins and other inhabitants of the region. Their unique adaptations made them perfectly suited to the extreme conditions of the desert, and they provided transportation, food, clothing, and were integral to trade and survival. The central role of camels in Arabian life cannot be overstated. For the nomadic Bedouins, camels were not merely animals, they were a lifeline. They enabled the transportation of goods across vast stretches of inhospitable terrain, facilitating trade and communication between distant regions. The camel's ability to endure long periods without water, to carry heavy loads, and to survive on sparse vegetation made it an invaluable asset. It was not just their physical attributes that were admired, but also their behavioral traits. Camels were known for their resilience, patience, and ability to thrive under the most challenging conditions. Given the camel's significant role in the lives of the people, it is no surprise that they are mentioned in the Quran. The Quranic references to camels are multifaceted, encompassing their physical characteristics, their utility, and their symbolic meanings. These references serve to highlight various attributes and to draw analogies for deeper spiritual lessons. One of the most prominent mentions of camels in the Quran is found in Surah Al-Ghashiyah 88 and 17, which states, "Do they not look at the camels, how they are created?" This verse invites believers to reflect on the camel's creation as a testament to God's power and wisdom. The camel's unique physical features are highlighted as signs of divine creativity and omnipotence. By urging people to contemplate the creation of camels, the Quran encourages a broader reflection on the natural world and the myriad signs of God's existence and attributes within it. In addition to their role as reflections of divine creation, camels are also used in the Quran to impart moral and spiritual lessons. The resilience and patience of camels, their ability to endure and thrive in harsh conditions, can be seen as an analogy for the human spirit's capacity to endure trials and tribulations with faith and perseverance. The Quran encourages believers to observe the camel's behavior and to draw inspiration from it. This serves as a reminder of the importance of cultivating virtues such as patience, resilience, and steadfastness in one's spiritual journey. The significance of camels in the Quran extends beyond their physical and behavioral traits. They are also woven into the narratives of the prophets, providing rich symbolic meaning. One of the most famous stories involving a camel in the Quran is the tale of Prophet Saleh and the she-camel. This story is recounted in several surahs and serves as a powerful illustration of divine signs and human response to them. The she-camel in the story of Prophet Saleh represents a miraculous sign sent by God to the people of Thamud, who demanded proof of Saleh's prophethood. The camel was a living miracle, a direct creation of God, meant to test the faith and obedience of the people. However, instead of respecting this divine sign, the people of Thamud hamstrung the camel, leading to their ultimate destruction as a punishment for their disbelief and disobedience. This narrative underscores the consequences of rejecting divine guidance and the importance of respecting God's signs and messengers. The she-camel in this story symbolizes several important themes. It represents divine intervention and the miraculous nature of God's signs. The people's treatment of the camel reflects their arrogance and unwillingness to accept the truth, ultimately leading to their downfall. This narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of rejecting divine guidance and the importance of respecting God's signs and messengers. It also highlights the camel's role as a symbol of faith and obedience to God's will. The role of camels in the Quran is further emphasized through their significance in Islamic rituals and practices. During the annual Hajj pilgrimage, camels are among the animals traditionally sacrificed as part of the rites of Eid al-Adha. This practice commemorates the willingness of Prophet Abraham, to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command, and God's provision of a ram as a substitute. The sacrifice of camels during Hajj is seen as an act of obedience, devotion, and charity, as the meat is distributed among the poor and needy. This ritual underscores the importance of camels in Islamic tradition and their symbolic association with sacrifice and submission to God's will. Islamic dietary laws, as outlined in the Quran, also mention camels. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:1, believers are instructed to observe the dietary laws regarding permissible animals, including camels. The consumption of camel meat is allowed, and it is considered a valuable source of nutrition in many Muslim communities, particularly in regions where camels are prevalent. This highlights the practical significance of camels in providing sustenance and their role in the dietary practices of Muslims. The multifaceted importance of camels in the Quran reflects their central role in the lives of the people at the time of its revelation. They serve as symbols of divine creation, sources of moral and spiritual lessons, and integral components of religious practices. By contemplating the Quranic references to camels, believers are encouraged to recognize the signs of God in all aspects of creation, appreciate the blessings provided by God, and strive to embody the virtues illustrated by these remarkable creatures. The camel, in its various roles, continues to be a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of faith, life, and the natural world in Islamic tradition. The Quranic verses mentioning camels serve as profound reflections on the intricacies of creation and the lessons embedded within nature. These references are not merely incidental mentions, but are woven into the fabric of Quranic teachings to illustrate and emphasize the wisdom, power, and creative majesty of God. By examining the various ways in which camels are presented in the Quran, one can gain a deeper appreciation for their symbolic and literal significance. One of the most notable references to camels is found in Surah Al-Ghashiyah 88:17, which reads, "Do they not look at the camels, how they are created?" This verse is an invitation to ponder the marvel of the camel's creation. It serves as a prompt for believers to engage in a contemplative exercise, reflecting on the camel's unique characteristics and how these traits signify divine ingenuity. The verse positions the camel as an emblem of God's creative prowess, encouraging a reflection on natural phenomena as a pathway to spiritual enlightenment and recognition of divine omnipotence. Camels are particularly remarkable due to their physiological and anatomical adaptations, which are perfectly suited to the desert environment. They possess unique features, such as the ability to endure long periods without water, withstand extreme temperatures, and travel vast distances across arid landscapes. Their humps, which store fat, enable them to survive in conditions where food and water are scarce. The structure of their feet allows them to walk on sand without sinking, and their thick fur provides insulation against both the scorching heat of the day and the cold of the night. These adaptations are not merely evolutionary advantages, but are seen within the Quranic framework as signs of purposeful design by an omniscient creator. In addition to their physical adaptations, camels exhibit behaviors that can be viewed as lessons for humans. Their resilience and ability to persevere through harsh conditions can be likened to the virtues of patience and steadfastness that the Quran advocates for believers. Just as camels endure the hardships of the desert, believers are encouraged to endure the trials and tribulations of life with faith and perseverance. This analogy extends to the broader theme of endurance and reliance on God, emphasizing the importance of maintaining faith and trust in divine wisdom, especially in difficult times. The Quran also uses camels to convey moral and spiritual lessons through their role in prophetic narratives. One of the most poignant stories involving a camel is that of Prophet Saleh and the she-camel, which appears in several surahs including Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26, 141, 159, and Surah Al-Qamar 54, 23, 31. This narrative recounts how the people of Thamud demanded a sign from Prophet Saleh to prove his divine mission. In response, God provided them with a miraculous she-camel as a sign and a test. The she-camel was extraordinary, emerging from a rock by the will of God, and it was meant to serve as a clear evidence of Saleh's prophethood. The story further elaborates that the she-camel was a test of the people's faith and obedience. They were commanded to allow the camel to graze freely and to drink water on specific days, sharing their water resources with it. However, despite witnessing this clear miracle, the people of Thamud disobeyed. They plotted against the she-camel and eventually hamstrung it, committing an act of grave defiance against the divine sign. This act of treachery led to their doom, as God punished them for their disbelief and arrogance. The narrative of the she-camel of Saleh is thus rich with lessons on faith, obedience, and the consequences of rejecting divine guidance. The she-camel in this story serves multiple symbolic purposes. It represents a direct sign from God, a miraculous creation meant to test the people's faith. Its treatment by the people of Thamud highlights themes of human arrogance and the rejection of truth, which are recurrent motifs in the Quran. The destruction that befalls the Thamud serves as a dire warning about the repercussions of ignoring divine signs and messages. This narrative not only underscores the importance of respecting and adhering to divine commands, but also illustrates the mercy and justice of God in responding to human actions. Beyond their symbolic roles and narratives, camels also have practical significance in the Quranic context. The Quran addresses various aspects of daily life, including dietary laws and practices. Camels, being prevalent in the Arabian Peninsula, naturally feature in these discussions. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:1, believers are instructed to observe dietary laws regarding permissible animals, including camels. The verse highlights that certain animals are lawful for consumption, reflecting the practical considerations of the time and place of the Quran's revelation. The consumption of camel meat, milk, and other byproducts is permitted, and these products have historically been a vital source of nutrition and sustenance for people living in desert regions. Camels also play a significant role in Islamic rituals, particularly during the annual Hajj pilgrimage. One of the key rituals during Hajj is the sacrifice of animals during Eid al-Adha, which commemorates the willingness of Prophet Abraham to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command. Camels are among the animals traditionally sacrificed as part of this rite. The act of sacrificing a camel is seen as an expression of obedience to God and a demonstration of willingness to give up valuable possessions in submission to divine will. The meat from the sacrificed camels is distributed among the poor and needy, emphasizing themes of charity, community, and the provision of sustenance. The role of camels in these rituals highlights their importance not just as practical animals, but as symbols of faith and devotion. The ritual sacrifice serves as a reminder of the story of Ibrahim and his son, illustrating the profound faith and trust in God's commands. It also underscores the communal aspect of Islam, where acts of worship are intertwined with social responsibility and care for the less fortunate. The Quran's narratives involving camels are not merely historical recounts, but are imbued with profound moral and spiritual lessons. One of the most significant stories is that of Prophet Saleh and the miraculous she-camel, which appears in several surahs, including Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26, 141, 159, and Surah Al-Qamar 54, 23, 31. This narrative serves as a powerful illustration of the themes of divine intervention, human arrogance, and the consequences of rejecting God's signs. Prophet Saleh was sent to the people of Thamud, a tribe known for their architectural prowess and their ability to carve homes out of mountains. Despite their technological advancements and prosperity, the Thamud people were steeped in idolatry and moral corruption. Saleh, chosen by God as a messenger, called them to monotheism, urging them to abandon their false deities and to worship the one true God. However, the people of Thamud were skeptical and demanded a tangible sign to prove Saleh's prophethood. In response to their demand, God sent a miraculous she-camel as a clear and unequivocal sign of his power and Saleh's legitimacy as a prophet. This camel was not an ordinary animal, but a divine creation, born from the rocks by the command of God. Its miraculous origin and unique characteristics set it apart, making it a living testament to the divine message delivered by Saleh. The she-camel was given specific instructions by God, communicated through Saleh, which the people of Thamud were required to follow. They were commanded to allow the camel to graze freely and to drink water on designated days, with the understanding that the camel would share the water sources with the community. These instructions were not arbitrary, but served as a test of the people's obedience and faith. The she-camel's presence among the Thamud was a constant reminder of God's power and the necessity of adhering to divine guidance. Despite witnessing this clear miracle, the leaders and the majority of the Thamud people refused to believe. They viewed the she-camel as a threat to their way of life and their authority. Their arrogance and unwillingness to submit to God's will led them to plot against the camel. They saw the divine sign not as a blessing, but as an intrusion that challenged their established norms and beliefs. The climax of this story is marked by the tragic decision of the Thamud leaders to kill the she-camel. This act of defiance and sacrilege was a deliberate and conscious rejection of God's sign. The Quran describes how they hamstrung the camel, a cruel and violent act that symbolizes their utter disregard for divine commandments and their brazen arrogance. This heinous act sealed their fate, as it was a direct affront to God's authority. The punishment for the Thamud's transgression was swift and severe. God sent a devastating calamity that obliterated the people of Thamud, sparing only those who believed and followed Saleh. This destruction served as a stark warning to future generations about the consequences of rejecting divine guidance and the importance of heeding the messages brought by God's prophets. The story of Saleh and the she-camel is rich with symbolic meanings and lessons. The she-camel represents a clear sign of God's mercy and power, a miraculous provision meant to guide the Thamud back to the right path. The people's treatment of the camel reflects their inner moral state, their arrogance, ingratitude, and stubbornness. The narrative underscores the themes of divine justice and the inevitability of punishment for those who defy God's signs. Another significant mention of camels in prophetic narratives is found in the story of Prophet Abraham, and his willingness to sacrifice his son Ishmael. Although the Quran does not specify the type of animal substituted for Ismail, Islamic tradition holds that a ram was provided by God. However, camels play a crucial role in commemorating this event during the annual Eid al-Adha festival. During Eid al-Adha, Muslims around the world perform the ritual sacrifice of animals, including camels, to honor Ibrahim's devotion and submission to God's will. This ritual is deeply symbolic, representing the themes of obedience, faith, and the willingness to make personal sacrifices for the sake of divine commands. The meat from the sacrificed animals is distributed among the poor and needy, reinforcing the values of charity, community, and compassion. The role of camels in this ritual highlights their significance in Islamic tradition beyond their physical attributes and practical uses. The act of sacrificing a camel during Eid al-Adha is seen as an expression of gratitude to God and a reaffirmation of one's commitment to follow divine guidance. It also serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of faith and social responsibility, as the act of giving to those in need is an essential component of the ritual. The Quranic narrative of the she-camel and the ritual sacrifice during Eid al-Adha both emphasize the importance of recognizing and respecting divine signs. They illustrate the consequences of arrogance and disobedience, and they highlight the virtues of faith, obedience, and compassion. These stories and practices are integral to the moral and spiritual fabric of Islam, providing believers with enduring lessons on how to live a life that is pleasing to God. The multifaceted roles of camels in these narratives reflect their broader significance in Islamic thought. They are not only symbols of divine creation and miracles, but also embodiments of the virtues and values that Islam seeks to cultivate in its followers. The stories involving camels serve as powerful reminders of the principles of faith, humility, and responsibility that lie at the heart of the Quranic message. Camels play a significant role in Islamic teachings and practices, transcending their practical utility and embodying profound symbolic meanings. Their importance is evident in various aspects of Islamic rituals, dietary laws, and cultural practices, all of which highlight their integral place in the spiritual and social fabric of Muslim communities. One of the most notable instances where camels feature prominently in Islamic rituals is during the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Hajj, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, is a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca that every Muslim who is physically and financially able must undertake at least once in their lifetime. During Hajj, several rites are performed, one of which is the ritual sacrifice of animals during Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice. Eid al-Adha commemorates the willingness of Prophet Abraham, to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command. According to Islamic tradition, just as Ibrahim was about to carry out the sacrifice, God intervened and provided a ram to be sacrificed instead. This event is celebrated annually by Muslims around the world through the ritual sacrifice of animals, including camels, sheep, goats, and cows. The sacrifice symbolizes obedience to God, the willingness to give up what is valuable, and the spirit of sharing with those in need. The sacrifice of camels during Eid al-Adha is particularly significant due to their high value and the considerable amount of meat they provide. In regions where camels are prevalent, their sacrifice is seen as a grand gesture of devotion and generosity. The meat from the sacrificed camels is distributed among family, friends, and the less fortunate, ensuring that everyone partakes in the blessings of the festival. This practice underscores the values of charity, community, and the equitable distribution of resources, which are central tenets of Islamic teachings. Beyond the ritual sacrifice, camels hold an important place in Islamic dietary laws. The Quran outlines specific dietary guidelines for Muslims, emphasizing the consumption of halal, permissible food, and the avoidance of haram, forbidden substances. Camels are explicitly mentioned in these guidelines, and their meat is considered halal, provided that the animal is slaughtered according to Islamic procedures. This involves invoking the name of God at the time of slaughter and ensuring that the animal is treated humanely. The permissibility of camel meat is particularly significant in regions where camels are a primary source of sustenance. In many parts of the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia, camel meat, milk, and other byproducts are essential components of the diet. Camel milk, known for its nutritional benefits, is especially prized for its high vitamin and mineral content and its ability to withstand spoilage in hot climates. The consumption of camel products reflects the adaptability of Islamic dietary laws to different cultural and environmental contexts, allowing Muslims to maintain their religious obligations while utilizing locally available resources. Camels also play a crucial role in the cultural practices and economic activities of Muslim communities. In many parts of the Muslim world, camels are integral to pastoralist and nomadic lifestyles. They are valued for their ability to transport goods and people across vast desert terrains, their resilience in harsh environments, and their capacity to provide milk, meat, and wool. The symbiotic relationship between humans and camels is celebrated in poetry, folklore, and traditional songs, reflecting the deep bond and mutual dependence that has developed over centuries. In Islamic history, camels have been associated with significant events and figures. The Prophet Muhammad himself had a camel named Qaswa, which he rode during the Hijra, migration from Mecca to Medina. This journey marks a pivotal moment in Islamic history, symbolizing the transition from persecution to the establishment of a Muslim community. The Prophet's use of a camel during this journey underscores the animal's importance and serves as a model for its continued reverence in Islamic tradition. Camels are also featured in the stories of other prophets, further embedding them in the religious and cultural consciousness of Muslims. For instance, the story of Prophet Saleh and the miraculous she-camel, as mentioned in the Quran, highlights the camel's role as a divine sign and a test of faith. These narratives reinforce the camel's symbolic significance and its association with themes of obedience, resilience, and divine intervention. The use of camels in Islamic rituals and cultural practices also extends to their role in traditional medicine. In some Muslim cultures, camel milk and urine are believed to have medicinal properties and are used in the treatment of various ailments. While these practices are rooted in cultural beliefs and traditional knowledge, they also reflect the holistic approach to health and well-being that is emphasized in Islamic teachings. Moreover, camels have a symbolic presence in Islamic art and architecture. They are depicted in various forms, from intricate carvings and paintings to modern Islamic calligraphy. These artistic representations celebrate the camel's significance and its contribution to the cultural and spiritual heritage of Muslim societies. The camel's form, often portrayed with grace and majesty, serves as a reminder of its enduring importance and the lessons it embodies. In contemporary times, the cultural and economic roles of camels continue to evolve. In some regions, they are part of modern agricultural practices and tourism industries, contributing to local economies and cultural preservation. Camel races and beauty contests are popular events that attract visitors and participants, showcasing the animal's agility, strength, and aesthetic qualities. These activities highlight the camel's ongoing relevance and its ability to adapt to changing social and economic landscapes. The multifaceted roles of camels in Islamic teachings and practices underscore their profound significance in Muslim life. They are not only practical animals but also symbols of faith, resilience, and divine favor. Their presence in religious rituals, dietary laws, cultural practices, and economic activities reflects the holistic integration of faith and daily life that is central to Islamic teachings. Through their various roles, camels continue to inspire reflection on the divine, promote values of charity and community, and remind believers of the interconnectedness of all aspects of creation. By understanding the comprehensive importance of camels in Islam, one can appreciate the depth and breadth of their symbolic and practical roles. They serve as a testament to the adaptability and relevance of Islamic teachings in diverse contexts, highlighting the enduring wisdom of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad's example. The camel, in its various capacities, remains a powerful symbol of the rich tapestry of faith, culture, and life in the Muslim world. The multifaceted importance of camels in the Quran reflects their central role in the lives of the people at the time of its revelation and their ongoing significance in Islamic tradition. Camels are highlighted as symbols of divine creation, sources of moral and spiritual lessons, and integral components of religious practices. Through these references, the Quran encourages believers to recognize the signs of God in all aspects of creation, appreciate the blessings provided by God, and strive to embody the virtues illustrated by these remarkable creatures. The camel, in its various roles, continues to be a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of faith, life, and the natural world in Islamic tradition. Camels are not merely animals within the Quranic context. They are intricate symbols of various divine attributes and human virtues. By contemplating the creation and characteristics of camels, believers are invited to ponder the vastness and meticulousness of God's creation. This reflection is not an abstract exercise, but a call to recognize the tangible signs of God's presence and power in the natural world. The camel's unique adaptations to its harsh environment, such as its ability to conserve water and endure long journeys, are reminders of the divine wisdom embedded in all creatures. These adaptations are not only functional, but also serve as metaphors for spiritual resilience and perseverance. The Quranic verses that mention camels serve as reminders of the intricate design of the universe, encouraging believers to look beyond the surface and appreciate the underlying order and purpose in creation. This perspective fosters a sense of awe and humility, as it becomes evident that every aspect of creation, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, has a role in the divine scheme. The camel, with its remarkable abilities and essential role in the lives of desert dwellers, exemplifies this intricate design and serves as a constant reminder of God's omnipotence and wisdom. The role of camels in the narratives of the prophets further underscores their symbolic importance. The story of Prophet Saleh and the miraculous she-camel, for instance, is not just a historical account, but a powerful allegory of faith, obedience, and the consequences of arrogance and disbelief. The she-camel's miraculous origin and the subsequent reaction of the Thamud people highlight the recurring Quranic theme of divine signs and human response. This narrative serves as a cautionary tale, emphasizing the importance of heeding divine guidance and the dire consequences of rejecting it. In this context, the camel becomes a symbol of divine mercy and a test of human character. The Thamud's mistreatment of the she-camel reflects their moral and spiritual corruption, while their eventual destruction serves as a stark reminder of the ultimate accountability before God. The story thus reinforces the Quranic message that signs from God are not to be taken lightly, and that human beings must respond with humility, gratitude, and obedience. The she-camel's presence among the Thamud was a daily reminder of God's power and mercy, and their failure to honor it exemplifies the perils of hubris and ingratitude. The use of camels in Islamic rituals, particularly during the Hajj pilgrimage and Eid al-Adha, further illustrates their significance in Islamic practice. The ritual sacrifice of camels during Eid al-Adha commemorates the profound act of devotion and submission demonstrated by Prophet Ibrahim. This ritual is rich with symbolic meanings, emphasizing themes of obedience, sacrifice, and compassion. The act of sacrificing a valuable animal like a camel underscores the depth of one's commitment to God and the willingness to give up something precious in His service. The subsequent distribution of the meat among the poor and needy reinforces the values of charity, community, and social justice, which are central to Islamic teachings. The practical significance of camels in Islamic dietary laws also highlights their role in daily life and sustenance. The Quranic permission to consume camel meat, provided it is slaughtered according to Islamic procedures, reflects the adaptability of Islamic dietary laws to different cultural and environmental contexts. In many regions where camels are a primary source of sustenance, their meat and milk are essential components of the diet, providing necessary nutrition and sustaining communities in harsh environments. This practical aspect of camels underscores the Quran's relevance to the lived realities of its adherents and its guidance on how to navigate daily life in a manner that is consistent with divine principles. The cultural significance of camels extends beyond their practical uses and religious symbolism. In many Muslim societies, camels are celebrated in poetry, folklore, and art, reflecting their deep-rooted presence in the cultural and spiritual life of the community. This cultural reverence for camels is a testament to their enduring importance and the profound impact they have had on the social and economic life of the people. The camel's grace, endurance, and utility are often extolled in traditional songs and stories, reinforcing its status as a beloved and respected creature. In Islamic art and architecture, camels are often depicted in various forms, symbolizing their integral role in Muslim life. These artistic representations celebrate the camel's significance and contribute to the rich cultural heritage of the Muslim world. The camel's form, often portrayed with elegance and majesty, serves as a visual reminder of its importance and the lessons it embodies. These depictions also reflect the broader Islamic principle of finding beauty and meaning in all aspects of creation, emphasizing the interconnectedness of faith, art, and life. In contemporary times, the role of camels continues to evolve, adapting to new social and economic contexts. In some regions, camels are part of modern agricultural practices, contributing to sustainable farming and livestock management. Camel racing and beauty contests have become popular cultural events, attracting participants and spectators and showcasing the animal's agility, strength, and aesthetic qualities. These events not only celebrate the camel's enduring relevance, but also highlight the dynamic nature of cultural traditions and their ability to adapt to changing times. The ongoing significance of camels in Islamic tradition and contemporary life reflects their multifaceted roles and the depth of their symbolic and practical importance. They serve as a bridge between the past and present, linking ancient traditions with modern practices and reminding believers of the timeless wisdom embedded in the Quran. Through their various roles, camels continue to inspire reflection on the divine, promote values of charity and community, and remind believers of the interconnectedness of all aspects of creation. By understanding the comprehensive importance of camels in Islam, one can appreciate the depth and breadth of their symbolic and practical roles. They serve as a testament to the adaptability and relevance of Islamic teachings in diverse contexts, highlighting the enduring wisdom of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad's example. The camel, in its various capacities, remains a powerful symbol of the rich tapestry of faith, culture, and life in the Muslim world. Its significance extends beyond its physical presence, embodying the principles of resilience, obedience, and compassion that lie at the heart of the Islamic faith.